Welcome to the Nightcap. It's your girl, Carolina Sanchez. And are you vegan? Do you know what veganism is? Is it the same as vegetarianism? Might not be. I honestly don't know too much. But you can't talk about veganism without some food. And we've got what looks like a delicious burger. Are you sure? Is this vegan?
It's one of the very best of them all, and we're gonna call that the WAP-er.
Ooh, W-A-P, okay? It's juicy, baby. But before we bite into it, we've got a couple on the couch. You know one of them, Dr. Brooke Goldner and her husband are in the building, and they're vegan, so they're gonna teach me a thing or two. Let's get into it.
Yeah, what's up for a nightcap? Chill, you know, kick back.
All right, it's time to learn about the vegan lifestyle. We've got Dr. Brooke Goldner and her husband, Thomas Tadlock. Thank you both for joining me.
It's great to be back.
I know. I mean, I still drink my green smoothies, okay? I ain't gonna lie. I mean, sometimes I skip a week or two, but I brought one today. Okay?
Good, I'm proud of you.
Yes.
Excellent.
So how did you guys become vegans?
Oh, goodness. Well, it's a long story, but I was vegetarian since I was a kid because I loved animals.
Okay.
And so I wasn't eating meat, but I ate lots of dairy and eggs every single day. That's what vegetarians tend to do. And I was also a sick person. As I've talked about in other episodes, I had lupus, I had kidney failure by 16. By the time I met this guy, I already had blood clots, mini strokes, and it's kind of amazing. I mean, we fell in love quickly, but he wanted to marry a sick person.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I want to marry you. I
He's like,
wasn't
I'm not
looking
gonna
for a sick
label
person to marry,
you
but I
as-
wanted to marry you.
Yeah, and even when I explained to him that I wouldn't be able to have children and that he'd have to take care of me when I became disabled, he just said, tell him what you said, baby.
This is true. I'd rather live a short life with you than a lifetime with anyone else.
And so we decided to get married, and I was very excited. And what happened was he's already was an expert in metabolism. That's his study. He's a scientist who wanted to figure out what is the best diet for humans to have the best body,
Okay.
physically. And so I thought, well, if I'm getting married and we're going to elope to Hawaii, I wanted to look good in my wedding dress. And I was wearing a white coat, which covers a lot, you know, but I wanted to look good. So he created a diet to train me, but it had to be different than his usual diet. Accidentally was vegan.
Well, I had a typical diet that I would put people on to get in shape as quickly as possible. You know, I used to work with a lot of people that they wanted to get as much fat off their body as quickly as possible. So they would do a lot of exercise. And then my go-to diet was high raw vegetables,
Okay.
high omega-3 fatty acids. And then at the time, it was a lot of like free-range meats. But she couldn't eat meat. She didn't eat meat. So
Right.
I needed to do some switch-ups. So I switched all the meat up with vegan sources. So we did tofu, soybeans, and everything else the same. High raw vegetables, omega-3 fatty acids from things like flax seeds, and then what happened?
Well,
You looked amazing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I lost weight like everybody else. I went from a size 11 to a size 3 in 3 months. And I was ripped. I mean, I had abs.
Hold on. I mean, every time you say this to me, it's like eight sizes in 3 months. Like, that just sounds, it sounds unhealthy, number one, right? It sounds like a crash diet that you shouldn't be doing.
But it wasn't. It was amazing because, listen, I'd been working out for a while, and when I wanted to lose weight in the past, I would eat less. And what he did is he made me eat more. And he said, if you want to get a fast metabolism, you can't starve yourself. That's why most people, when they starve themselves, right, they can get thin, but the moment you eat one bite of something, boom, you're back up higher than before. And so, no, you have to eat high amounts. We call it hypernourishment. So you eat high amounts of the foods that make you, well, we knew fitter, but we didn't know healthier because I lost the weight and I lost the lupus. In October, it's going to be almost 20 years since I picked him up at a bar. And it'll be 18 years that I've been lupus free. And we've had 2 kids. We just went to the town show today for my younger kid. And like, we have an amazing life, and we've just wanted to give that gift back. So while there's many ways to be vegan that aren't necessarily healthy, what we teach people is how to eat in a way that not only can give you that sick body that you want, but actually sick looking as in hot ripped, but healthy
Sexy
body that I've never gained the weight back even through 2 pregnancies. Immediately it falls back off, and I've been able to be healthy and help all these people all over the world get healthy too. All because of this guy. So yeah,
On
now
accident. You have to understand, when I first met her, this is what she told me was that the doctor said that she wasn't going to live very long. We weren't going to be able to have children. So to have all of this right now I still have to kind of pinch myself because it still feels like a dream. That she's not supposed to be this healthy. She's not supposed to have children with me. It's incredible.
And the fact that you were the tool that helped her to live this long.
The
if
accidental,
I hadn't met him, I might be dead. And
That's
now,
crazy.
Yeah, and
to
now,
think of it in that perspective.
Yeah, and that's why we share a protocol
Yep.
for free with the public, because I always say you have to save your life, and he always says you got to save your wife. And so we want everyone to be able to live our story.
Okay, so the difference between vegetarianism and veganism
Okay.
is the...
Well, so vegetarians do not eat animals, but
Okay.
they do eat things that come from animals. So they will eat
Animal
dairy, they
products.
will eat eggs, they will also wear leather. So they will use animal products. They just won't eat the actual animal. A vegan, when you use the word vegan, it's really a philosophy of wanting to live a lifestyle of no harm where no animal is hurt or killed. And so there is a lot of pain and suffering in the egg industry, in the dairy industry, in the leather industry. So vegans really eschew all kind of animal products whatsoever in any aspect of their lives as much as they can.
So it's not just consumption.
It's not about food, it's a lifestyle. And that's why sometimes vegans get upset when people call it a diet, because it's really a lifestyle of embracing that you're going to live in a way that you cause the least amount of harm and damage to animals and to the planet.
Wow. Okay, we got to talk a little bit more about this. So the conversation on this continues. You stay right there. Welcome back to the Nightcap. We've been talking about the vegan lifestyle with Dr. Brooke Goldner and her best-selling author husband, Thomas Tadlock. We've talked about your journey into veganism. You were a vegetarian for a long time. Thomas came into your life, and you became a vegan, lupus-free, best shape of your life, looking amazing.
Yep.
Thomas, you were a carnivore.
Big time.
Yeah.
Before I was vegan, I ate a lot of meat. Now at the time, so I was a full-time personal trainer, and the best way I knew how to get people in shape and to stay in shape myself was to eat a lot of meat and a lot of raw vegetables and train as hard as possible. And that's kind of what I did every single day. I was averaging about 2 pounds of meat every single day to try to keep up the muscle mass that I had, at least so I thought at the time. And so Brooke, she went vegan, and I got to watch her completely reverse her disease going vegan. And also on top of that, she was also an ethical vegan. So every time she would watch me take a bite of any meat, I could see it on her face that it was breaking her heart for ethical reasons. That
Okay, time out. So is there a difference between people who are vegan and aren't ethical vegans?
Well, so ethical vegans means you care about the life of the animal, right? So there are people who are eating plant-based because of health, which is, I mean, that's definitely what keeps me going a lot. And then there's also the life of the animals too. And remember, I was a vegetarian as a kid because I cared about animals. But it also broke my heart because I was learning now, as a physician, I started studying the impact of diet on health. And I went, wait, the #1 most reversible cause of death in this world, in this country, is heart attacks. And then there's colon cancer, which is caused by eating a lot of meat. His uncle had just died of colon cancer. And so I'm looking at him, and he looks fit and gorgeous, but I know on the insides, now his life is in danger. And I said, wait, so now I'm gonna live forever and you're gonna have a heart attack? That's not cool either. So I started pressuring him a bit.
Oh, so you're seeing her like squinting, wincing every time you're eating a burger, or
I
what?
supported her and I respected her being vegan.
Okay.
And in fact, I supported the kids being vegan too. In fact, I myself thought, God, I wish I could be vegan as well. But I just was so scared to go vegan for the reason that I thought I was going to lose all of my
the muscle mass.
and my personal training career was just going to go in the toilet if that was going to be the case. But then one day I decided, you know what, babe, I'm going to give it a shot. And this was so many years ago, before there were any real resources out there teaching people how to be in shape while vegan. Now it's totally different. Now there are tons and tons of athletes that are switching over vegan because it's increasing their performance, and we're seeing bodybuilders win first place in contests now, 100% vegan. But back then, you couldn't find those resources. So it was just, you know, you had to kind of figure it out on your own. So I thought, you know what, okay, let me give it a shot. I'll give it 8 weeks. 8 weeks, I'll go fully vegan. I'll do my best to try to replace the protein. Maybe that's all I got to do as long as I train hard, and everything will be fine. And if that's the case, then I'll be
You'll
vegan.
keep going.
Well, I was only 4 days into it. I don't know what to tell you. It was like something totally changed with my mindset. That for the first time in my life, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but before, you know, when Brooke would talk about the ethical reasons to become vegan, about not harming animals, I have to sadly admit that I didn't really care about that at the time. But 4 days into having all forms of meat and animal products out of my system, it's like I could finally feel that. I got it. Like I understood the suffering that these animals were going through, and I felt so guilty. And even though I wasn't feeling that much better because I was eating all the wrong vegan foods, I thought if I just shove a whole bunch of vegan hot dogs, I'm going to get all the protein that I need, right?
Right.
Bad strategy. I didn't know any better at the time, but what I realized was that inside, I felt like it was wrong for me to continue going back to eat meat.
So you became ethical vegan
I became
before you
an
realized
ethical
what you should be
vegan
doing.
4 days in, and I said, I don't know how this experiment is going to turn out, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to stay vegan for the rest of my life from here on out. And if it means I'm going to have to switch careers, if I can't figure out how to get my body in shape on a vegan diet, then so be it. But one way or another, I'm going to stay vegan for the rest of my life. And that's
Okay,
that's
and
what happened.
you still look fit. You look
Oh,
good.
yeah.
So are you still
I
keeping
had
that
to
up?
go.
Or
There
what
were
are
some
you doing?
yo-yos because
really?
again, so what I discovered early on is the vegan hot dog diet doesn't work to build muscle and maintain a good physique. So
Right.
I had to discover a few things, but you know, it didn't take long for me to figure it out. You know, it took about a year for me to figure out that, okay, the better protein sources come from come from tofu, seitan, pea protein, and the other thing is that vegans are able to train like 2 to 3 times more often than our meat-eating counterparts because the amount of inflammation in our body that exists is so much lower. We're able to recover faster. So I ended up training like 3 to 4 times harder in the gym and more often, and I was able to build all of my muscle back that I lost during this experimental phase. And from that point, I never looked back. And what's great is it's been over a decade since then, and so many other athletes all over the world are doing exactly the same thing. They're going vegan. They're looking amazing. I mean, there was a guy named Nimai Delgado that just showed up on the front page of it was Muscle and Fitness magazine. It's like the holy grail of fitness covers to be on. First vegan athlete to be on a front cover of that magazine.
Awesome.
So it's a thing.
It's a thing,
Yeah.
baby. It's a thing, baby. Well, I need to learn a couple more things because we are in Texas, and boy, do we love our meat. So how do we say goodbye? How do we say goodbye to it? We'll ask. Coming up next. Welcome back to the Nightcap. We've been talking about the vegan lifestyle with Dr. Brooke Goldner and her best-selling author husband, Thomas Tadlock, powerhouse couple that are both vegan. Became vegan as a unit because you were a vegetarian, you were a carnivore, and now we are practicing vegans for more than a couple decades now.
Well, for me,
Or
it's over a
almost
decade. For him, it's about a decade. Took me a
Wow.
little time
It was
to.
like March of
Push it.
2011
Wow.
is when I
Okay,
went vegan.
Okay, so you just celebrated 12 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey.
All right, this is the Nightcap. You know we talk about sex and relationships. So we actually went out to ask people about vegan sexuals and what that is. It's basically people who are ethically vegan and want other partners to be ethically vegan too. Let's see what people said.
Vegan sexuals, no.
You're attracted to other vegans?
That's something new to me.
A vegan sexual?
Yeah, that's great for them.
Yeah,
Awesome.
great. Who gives a yeah, good vegans. You do your
That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm not vegan.
At this point, I feel like you could just lie about being vegan, but then see how far the lie goes.
I guess they're trying to keep their blood pure.
Well, everybody has their own preferences of what they choose, how they live their life, and what they want to do. So I'm all for it.
That's their business. If they keep it between vegans, that's easier for everybody else.
I feel like they're doing their own thing, so they should just, I mean, as long as it's not affecting me, I don't give that much of care for it.
Have you heard of vegan sexuals?
No, I don't know. Sex with only healthy sex.
There are vegans who only have sex with other vegans. What do you think about that?
That's lame. Supposed to have sex with everybody. YOLO.
Oh my goodness, YOLO. What are y'all's thoughts on this? Obviously, y'all are vegan sexuals because y'all are married and y'all are both vegans. I mean, are there any benefits to vegan sex?
Absolutely. I mean, when it comes to dating, I mean, I think for these folks, you know, it's hard enough to have a meeting of the minds, right? But if you have something you're passionate about that means a lot to you and your partner doesn't, it's going to be problems. And I've seen that in couples where I've helped save someone's life by giving them a really good plant-based, nourishing diet, right? And then they have issues with their spouse who does not want to give up bacon and eggs, and it can cause a rift. So I could see that being an issue.
Right.
But really, in terms of health, it's the best thing that you can do. You know, the #1 cause of death in our country is heart disease, heart attacks. And the first symptom of heart disease in men is erectile dysfunction. The blood vessels.
ED.
Yes, blood vessels in the penis are smaller. Don't take offense, it's true. The blood vessels are smaller, and so they'll get clogged up first. And so a plant-based vegan diet will prevent the collection of the plaques in the arteries. And so when men go on a plant-based diet, it can reverse the heart disease and give them back that function so they can be harder, longer, and enjoy their sex life with their partner as they get older.
So I'm in my late 40s and vegan 12 years, and I can report no clogs.
No. And I've tested his testosterone level, and it's like he's in his 20s. A lot of times men will say it's not manly to eat plants. Well, guess what? You're much manlier on plants, absolutely.
Wow. So you can avoid getting testosterone shots. Yes. You can avoid getting ED. And you can have a great sex life. Because, I mean, you were talking about the endurance of the gym. So the endurance in the bedroom must be...
All right, so athletes, scores of professional athletes are switching over to a vegan diet because of the endurance benefits that you get when you go plant-based, right? So that also translates into the physicality that happens in the bedroom as well. So there are a lot of benefits to going vegan.
And you don't lose your partner to a heart attack. You know,
wow. That's a huge
more.
plus. Yeah. But we are in Texas. People love their barbecue. They love their fajitas. They love their burgers, their hot dogs. How do you begin that conversation with people of like, you need to let it go?
Well, first of all, I don't think anyone gives up meat because they don't like the taste. You know, even when I was a kid and my parents first brought up becoming vegetarian, my favorite thing was a bacon cheeseburger. So flavor-wise, we like it. We also get addicted to it because it releases these endorphins and dopamine in our brain, so it's a physical addiction too. So for a lot of folks, first of all, I just acknowledge that. You know, second, there are alternatives now that taste better. I know we have some cooking going on here.
Oh yeah, y'all
where
can't smell
even
it at
tell.
home, but it smells delicious in here. We're gonna have a burger here in a second.
Yeah, so there are, for people who aren't ready to go full in on the health and the green smoothies, but they want something that tastes as good, but they want something that makes them feel better emotionally, there you go. It's an option that you can have as well. And then, of course, if you're trying to get healthy, then that has to become more important to you than what you're going through in terms of flavor withdrawal, is start to embrace what you want most instead of what you're feeling like you want right now.
Well, coming up, we're actually going to bite into some comfort food. It's vegan because it's from Houstatlantavegan, and it's a WAP-er. W-A-P, baby. Stay right there. Welcome back to the Nightcap. We've been talking about the vegan lifestyle, but we can't do it without food. So I've got Uwade Olade here, the man behind Houstatlantavegan, a food truck here in Houston, and you have quite a delicious burger here. Delicious looking. I'll have to taste it to know for sure. What is
Definitely. So this is going to be our WAP-er. This is inspired by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's song WAP. Yes, so it's spelled W-A-P. And this is wet ass patty.
Oh, okay. I love that. I love that. Okay, so are you a practicing vegan? And is that the right way to say it? Practicing vegan? Or are you just a vegan?
I think I would just go with vegan.
Yeah.
Yes, and I've been vegan for 6 years.
6 years?
Yes.
Okay, so what made you make the change?
So me, I've been vegetarian and pescatarian for pretty much all of my life.
Okay.
When I was in high school and a bit of college, I did eat chicken.
Okay.
But after that, during the end of my college, I decided to go vegan when I went to Canada. And
Canada?
Yes, Toronto, Canada is really everything where it all started, with my ideas for a food truck, everything. The culture out there was just vegan. So we were trying to eat a bunch of vegetarian food, but all the places were vegan, and they were so good, I was like, I can do this when I get back. I gotta learn how to cook.
And so you came back, learned how to cook, and opened the food truck.
Yes.
And then even the name of the food truck is Drake, so Toronto.
Yes.
Okay, are you from Toronto?
No, I'm here from Houston.
Okay.
But I got a lot of love for Toronto, for sure.
Gotcha. I mean, it made you who you are today, right?
Definitely, big part.
All right, well, let's see if you learned to cook, all right? All right, so what is all in this?
So we got 2 Impossible patties,
okay,
seasoned with the special HAV seasoning. We got Follow Your Heart vegan smoked Gouda cheese, HAV sauce that we make from scratch, and 2 strips of all vegetarian ink bacon.
Baby.
It's amazing.
That is finger.
You can't forget
good.
the toasted vegan brioche bun. Can't forget that. That was
so this whole thing
important.
is vegan?
Everything, 100%.
No eggs in this?
No eggs in it.
There's no animal products on here at all?
None, 0%.
Right, I know Brooke and Thomas, they've been smelling what you were cooking, so We probably need to give him a little bit of this. Okay, yep, Thomas is.
I saw the look on your face after
Listen,
you took a bite.
if you want to take a bite of that one, go ahead.
After you, ladies first.
Oh goodness, I'm gonna make a mess, but okay.
Well, let's cut that one. Let's cut that one,
Cut
shall
that
we?
one.
Here we go. All right, so I mean, you guys are all about the healthy lifestyle. So
Yes.
I mean, this is a comfort food, right?
This is what we call recreational eating. You're doing it to get high, to have fun. No one eats a burger in general for health.
Right.
They're doing it because they want to have a good time. And the smell of this alone, I mean, I don't know if you caught our stomachs
Thank
grumbling on the mic, but oh my gosh.
Yeah. You know what they're doing. Go ahead, Thomas. Go ahead. All right, listen, it's a hard change to make, especially if you've been eating meat your entire life, but it's not an impossible one. And you've got 3 people here behind the bar. I know, Thomas. I know. I know, baby. I know. I mean, if I didn't have to talk right now, I'd still be chowing down. But listen, the vegan life, yeah? Yeah, it's the move.
Oh, I'd kiss it right now if I wanted. I mean,
Listen.
my goodness.
I need to
Wow.
get back to my bites here on this vegan burger. And listen, if you're curious, give it 8 weeks and maybe in 4 days you'll be converted, all right? We'll see. Give me maybe 4 days of these. And
This will
I
take
might.
one bite.
Okay, one bite,
Maybe
baby.
a little bit more.
Listen, cheers to y'all, and we'll see you guys next time. Because I got to bite this down. Listen, Wade, you know what you're doing, baby.
It is
Best
amazing.
vegan burger I've ever had.